Look at this. She falls down. Here comes Alyssa Thomas, knee in the groin. And here she comes, fist on the throat. Knee in the groin, fist on the throat. Alyssa Thomas doing what Alyssa Thomas does, showing what a talentless hack she is. Showing what a talentless hack she is. When you don't have skill, you use physicality. Alyssa Thomas, again.
Every superstar in the history of sports has had to face their definitive welcome to the league moment. Michael Jordan had to survive the brutal physical onslaught of the bad boy Pistons before he could become a champion. Wayne Gretzky had dedicated enforcers tracking his every single move on the ice. But what we are witnessing right now in the WNBA is starting to feel entirely different and vastly more concerning. A rapidly growing number of Indiana Fever fans, along with basketball purists across the globe, are starting to ask a very difficult and very uncomfortable question. Is there a fundamental difference between tough, physical basketball and deliberately crossing the line to send a malicious message? During a highly contested, emotionally charged matchup that had the entire sports world watching, the unthinkable happened. Caitlin Clark, the undisputed face of the franchise, the ultimate ratings draw, and the biggest catalyst in the history of women's basketball, was forced to exit the game. She did not return, and the incredibly disturbing sequence of events that led to her walking off the court injured has set the entire basketball community on fire. Was it just a hard-nosed basketball play by a veteran enforcing her will, or was it a targeted, calculated message meant to intimidate? Today we are breaking down the exact footage, the mysterious and infuriating silence from the Indiana Fever coaching staff, and the lingering injury that could drastically alter the landscape of the entire WNBA season. If you want the real story, completely unfiltered and broken down play-by-play without the mainstream media spin, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Let's get directly into the game film.
Great to be here with you guys today. Caitlin Clark gets kneed in the groin, punched in the throat. Alyssa Thomas puts all of her body weight on her to stand up after falling to the ground, punching her and kneeing her in the groin. No foul gets called, they play on. Caitlin Clark shoots a three. A player on the Phoenix Mercury gets into her landing space. Caitlin Clark.
To truly understand the absolute magnitude of what happened on that hardwood, we cannot just look at the box score or read a post-game tweet. We have to look at the tape and analyze the body language. The specific timing and nature of these physical altercations have sparked an intense, fiery debate across every social media platform. Let's rewind to the exact moment the momentum of the game and perhaps the season shifted. Caitlin Clark finds herself knocked to the floor. In the chaotic high-speed scramble that immediately follows, veteran Alyssa Thomas is right there in the mix. Now, we all absolutely know that Thomas is one of the most famously physical, hard-nosed, relentless players in the history of the league. She built her entire reputation on playing with an aggressive edge. But as Clark desperately attempts to stand back up, the visual evidence shows significant, heavy, and questionable contact. Fans watching the live broadcast immediately flooded their timelines, explicitly pointing out what clearly appeared to be unnecessary and excessive contact targeting the upper chest and neck area, along with heavy body weight being purposefully utilized during the get-up motion to keep Clark grounded. No whistle is blown, no foul is given. No flagrant review is even considered by the officiating crew. The referees simply swallow their whistles and signal for the game to play on. In a professional sports league that constantly claims to prioritize player safety above all else, a sequence this physically punishing and potentially dangerous on a marquee generational player went completely unchecked. But the absolute nightmare for the Indiana Fever and their loyal fan base was only just beginning.
Call, or should I say landing space, no call. Shoots a three, player gets her landing space, she gets hurt, and you see, as soon as she gets hurt, boom, instantly goes to grab her back. The back that Stephanie White told us wasn't an issue. The back that's, again, this is twofold, because the coach lied about it, and then all the shills that allow this coach to lie about it, lied about it.
Just moments after absorbing that incredibly heavy physical contact on the floor, Clark tries to do what she does best. She tries to answer back with a devastating dagger from beyond the arc. She elevates beautifully for a three-pointer, her eyes locked on the rim. But I need you to completely ignore the ball and watch the defender's feet. In the modern, fast-paced game of basketball, the landing space rule is considered absolutely sacred. It was implemented across all professional leagues specifically to prevent devastating, career-altering ankle, knee, and back injuries. A defender recklessly steps directly into Clark's vulnerable landing zone while she is totally defenseless in the air. She comes down awkwardly, her momentum entirely disrupted, and immediately, instantly upon impact, you see her reach straight for her lower back in visible, undeniable agony. Once again, absolutely no landing space foul is called. No flagrant penalty is issued. Nothing happens. The glaring disparity in officiating tonight is causing tens of thousands of viewers to aggressively question the integrity and consistency of the referees. When a once-in-a-lifetime talent is taking this extreme level of physical punishment on consecutive plays without a single whistle blown to protect her health, it radically shifts from being a tough, gritty game to a massive potential liability for the league's skyrocketing television ratings. Fans tune in to see greatness, not to see their favorite players battered into the locker room. But perhaps the most shocking and infuriating part of this entire ordeal wasn't the opposing team's relentless physicality. It was the reaction, or rather, the complete and total lack of reaction from the Indiana Fever bench.
Landing space, no call, and Stephanie White sat there on the sidelines with her arms crossed, tweaking, sniffing, twitching away. This is a coach that said, I ride with Caitlin Clark. Stephanie White, you ride with Alyssa Thomas. You ride with DeWanna Bonner. You don't ride with the CC.
A massive and growing number of Fever fans are starting to ask a very difficult, pointed question about head coach Stephanie White. When your absolute franchise player, the sole engine of your entire offensive system, and the reason millions are watching, gets violently knocked to the floor, absorbs heavy uncalled contact, and then gets her dangerous landing space compromised on the very next offensive sequence, what is the expected reaction from a leader? Historically speaking, across all eras of basketball, this is the exact moment a head coach earns their respect and their paycheck. This is the moment a coach willingly takes a technical foul. This is when a coach storms the court, gets directly in the referee's face, and demands a clear explanation, sending an undeniable message to the opposing team that says, "You do not touch my point guard." Imagine a legendary coach watching their star take this abuse. They would be absolutely furious. But look closely at the footage provided. Stephanie White is seen merely standing on the sidelines, her arms casually crossed. There is no screaming. There is no technical foul taken. There is no drawing a definitive line in the sand to protect her player. This specific passive visual has sparked intense, furious debate among the dedicated fan base. Is there a toxic disconnect between the old guard of the WNBA and the new wave of incredibly popular talent entering the league? Many prominent analysts are now openly wondering if the coaching staff truly has Caitlin Clark's back when the game devolves into a physical street fight. You can easily sit at a podium and say you ride with your players in the calm post-game press conference, but the fans are hyper-analyzing your body language in the absolute heat of the battle. And right now, the silence radiating from the Indiana sideline is completely deafening.
Until they got called out about it. You can see her walking gingerly to the back right there. Now the question is, how does she sustain these injuries? The Indiana Fever update, Caitlin Clark will not return to tonight's game. Yeah, they're getting crushed. You got your blessing in disguise. Alyssa Thomas injured Caitlin Clark. The Fever didn't do anything to protect. Yeah, the Fever are getting crushed. We'll talk about that tomorrow, don't worry. We'll talk about.
And that horrifying reality brings us directly to the devastating aftermath of the game. The official update finally comes down from the team medical staff. Caitlin Clark has officially suffered a back injury and will absolutely not return to tonight's game. But here is exactly where the story gets incredibly complicated and why the entire Indiana Fever organization is sitting under a massive microscope today. This is not a sudden brand new issue that just appeared out of nowhere. For several weeks, incredibly observant fans and sharp-eyed analysts noticed Clark consistently wearing a heavy back brace. Whispers of a lingering, painful injury were quietly circulating through the sports media landscape, but the organization continuously and aggressively downplayed it to the public. They slapped the label of load management on it. They fired back at curious reporters who dared to dig too deep into her medical status. Now, the absolute truth is laid bare for the whole world to see on national television. You can clearly see her walking incredibly gingerly to the locker room tunnel, her posture remarkably stiff, the physical pain completely undeniable on her face. The timing of this severe injury, and the brutal fact that it was dramatically exacerbated by uncalled physical plays by the defense, has sparked immense, boiling frustration. Did the Indiana Fever medical staff and the highest levels of the front office completely fail to protect their most valuable and irreplaceable asset? By actively hiding the true severity of her back issues from the public and perhaps themselves, did they negligently put her in a vulnerable position to take catastrophic, compounding damage from deeply physical veterans like Alyssa Thomas?
Up. Then you got John the Liquidator in the building reporting. Amber just got up and went to Caitlin Clark in the back. You have Kelly Krauskopf getting up, going to Caitlin Clark in the back. No foul calls at all. No foul call on that play at all. And the thing is, Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner, they're all dapping it up in the locker room over there. They're all clapping each other high five in the locker room over there. All the old
The sheer severity of the escalating situation became crystal clear when urgent reports quickly surfaced from inside the arena that high-ranking front office executives, including Kelly Krauskopf and Amber Cox, immediately abandoned their seats to rush frantically to the back locker room area. You simply do not leave your comfortable VIP seats in the middle of a tight game for a minor cramp or a small bruise. You sprint to the back tunnels when the entire future of your multi-million-dollar franchise is suddenly in severe jeopardy. While the opposing team was happily dapping each other up, smiling and loudly celebrating a highly physical victory on the court, the Indiana Fever organization was reportedly plunged into full-blown panic mode behind closed locker room doors. The WNBA as a whole is currently standing at a massive historical crossroads. The league is experiencing unprecedented, explosive growth, routinely sold-out arenas, and record-breaking television ratings that rival major men's sports. But this specific ugly game exposed a glaring, dangerous flaw in the league's system. If the league's officials stubbornly refuse to protect the star players who are bringing in the millions of new eyeballs, and if a team's own coaching staff won't step up and take a simple fine to vigorously defend their franchise cornerstone, how long can this fragile golden era possibly last? Professional basketball is undeniably a physical sport. Nobody watching is asking for a soft, contact-free league. But paying fans are loudly demanding basic fairness, strict consistency, and the actual enforcement of fundamental rules like landing space protection and the elimination of unnecessary upper body shots. Caitlin Clark was on absolute unstoppable fire before this disastrous sequence unfolded. The fans were completely robbed of a spectacular down-to-the-wire finish, and the Fever were left hopelessly trying to pick up the broken pieces of a brutal 111-109 loss. But honestly, the final score doesn't mean a single thing today. The only thing that truly matters to the future of this team is the MRI results on that battered lower back. What do you guys think really happened out there? Did the officials purposely look the other way to let the veterans send a message? Is Stephanie White completely failing her most important job of protecting Caitlin Clark? Let me know your raw, honest opinions in the comments section below right now. I read every single one of them. Don't forget to absolutely smash that like button. Subscribe to WNBA Pro for the most relentless, hard-hitting coverage anywhere on YouTube, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a critical update. Until next time, stay passionate about the game and stay tuned.